Spring is here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
It's only a kick, a jump, a block. It's only a serve. It's only a tackle, a run. It's only for the fans. After all, it's only pressure. You got this. Adidas.
Hola.
Hello, this call is being translated.
Abuela, listen to what my phone can do.
Abuela, escucha lo que mi teléfono puede hacer.
¡Wow! Ahora dime sobre tu novia nueva.
Wow, now tell me about this new girlfriend.
Huh?
Tú sabes lo que dije.
You know what I said.
Language is no longer a barrier thanks to Live Translate with Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Learn more at Samsung.com. Samsung account login required. Calls must be made using the native Samsung dialer.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. You know Amazon Prime is not just a shipping subscription, right? It's got everything, including streaming TV and movies on Prime Video. And of course, Prime's fast, free shipping. Go from watching your favorite shows to getting your favorite things. Whatever you're into, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Welcome back, Ram fans. This is Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are proud members of the Fans First Sports Network. That's fansfirstsports.com. You can also follow us on YouTube. Our channel is at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. You'll hear from my co-host, Tom, on occasion as well. Hey, we're not Rams insiders. We're just longtime fans who love talking about our Los Angeles Rams. Let's get to it. Welcome back, Ram fans. Episode 457 of Rams Up. And if you hadn't figured it out, I was off the grid there for over a week. Had some canned episodes to share, and Ian, Paul, and Tom posted some stuff too. But I'm back trying to get caught up, and while I was gone, I was taking notes of a lot of little things going on, just some observations. I'm going to call this my 18 observations. Going to be all over the place, talking about a lot of things related to our LA Rams. First item, OTAs, ongoing. Rams have had 3 so far, 2 more on the 28th and 29th, another on the 31st, and then June 3rd through 6th, followed by the mini camp June 10th through 12th. And my second observation, out of those OTAs, Byron Young, a little bit bigger, 260 pounds. That's been all over the web. Everybody's excited about Jared Verse and Brandon Jackson, but man, Byron Young and Verse, they could end up being a great pair over the next few years. Let's hope it happens. My third observation, Cooper Kupp on the Julian Edelman podcast had an interesting thing to say. Sounded a little frustrated with a lot of players, or at least some players, didn't name names, about guys that show up not quite ready. And he's making the point that essentially it's a full-time job. He sees teammates spending 3 weeks in the Caribbean and coming back not quite ready to practice, about what you'd expect from Cooper Kupp. My fourth observation, also out of the OTAs, Kyren Williams with a foot issue. I wonder if the Rams knew about that or just have an overall concern about the health of the running backs and went out and drafted Blake Corum. But Kyren should be ready for the minicamp in June, we're hoping. Observation number 5 here, Michael Brockers retires. I love that guy. He had some great years with the Rams. I'll always remember that 2014 game against Seattle, fourth down play, Brockers and Aaron Donald and a couple of others, the mob squad, shut down Marshawn Lynch to seal a win for the Rams. Rams 28, Seahawks 26. And that was kind of the coming out party for Aaron Donald, I think. Rams were not good in 2014, but it was no fault of our defensive line. Robert Quinn in the mix there as well. My sixth observation, let's go through some schedule notes. The Rams get 5 primetime games, 2 Thursday night games, which is kind of odd, and only 2 potential cold weather games. That would be November 18th at New England, December 22nd at the New York Jets. And you know what? I'm not as concerned about cold weather games now with Matthew Stafford at quarterback. That was really a concern when we had Jared Goff back there. Just never had a warm fuzzy about Goff performing in cold weather. Matthew Stafford, not really that concerned. But the fewer games we have in cold weather, the better for our Los Angeles Rams. And my seventh observation, related to the schedule, I do my path to the playoffs segment on occasion, and I'm going to run through what I think are the key segments of this schedule where the Rams need to get rich. So they open up at Detroit, and then they go on the road again to play Arizona week 2. Now, we don't know what's going to happen in that Detroit game, but regardless of what happens, this game at Arizona is a game they need to win. I think it's good we're catching them early. They're a very young team, and I think they're on the rise. Rams need to get a win there. And then weeks 7 through 11, this is another part of the schedule. The Rams need to find a way to get rich, pile up some W's. They get the Raiders and the Vikings at home. Then they travel to Seattle, a place where they usually play well. Then they come home against Miami, maybe steal a win against the Dolphins. Man, that's going to be a fun game. And then they travel to New England. I'm hoping they can get 4 wins in this stretch. Minimum 3. They got to get 3. 4 would be great. Doubt they're going to be able to sweep all those games, especially with Miami there. But this is definitely a part of the schedule. Rams need to be playing well. And then the last 2 games at home against those same Cardinals and the Seahawks need to wrap things up with 2 straight wins. My 8th observation, also about the schedule, some scheduling quirks. Last year, the Rams and 49ers played 4 teams coming off a bye. That was a travesty, something that the NFL should never allow to happen. Some teams played 0 teams coming off a bye, and that's a big advantage. Having an extra week of rest, not good. Rams only have 1 such game, but they did it again to the 49ers. 49ers, once again, 2 straight years playing 4 teams coming off a bye. That is crazy. If I was a 49er fan, I'd be pretty pissed. If I'm a Ram fan, I'm kind of pleased, actually. And worth noting, most of the teams that have to travel the most, every year they're pretty much coastal teams. Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, maybe some East Coast teams. But the West Coast teams, it's typically them because there's such a wide span of the United States with only a couple teams. In between the West Coast and Kansas City, what do you got? The Cardinals and the Broncos. But West Coast teams pretty much every year have to travel the most. Well, this year, throw the Packers into the mix. They're in the middle of the country, but because they and the Eagles have to travel to Brazil, piling up some mileage there. So the Packers are on top of that list as well, along with the Eagles and the West Coast teams, as you'd expect. Observation number 9, stat of the pod. Not going to steal stat of the day from someone else. Stat of this pod. Saw this on Instagram, I think it was. All-time NFL top 10 most receiving yards per game. Torrey Holt is 8th on that list, and Cooper Kupp is 10th. Rams well represented. Observation number 10. Hey, maybe it's just me, but I'm kind of getting tired of these videos demonstrating Sean McVay's memory. We get it. It's incredible. Let's move on.
Hola.
Hello, this call is being translated.
Abuela, listen to what my phone can do.
Abuela, escucha lo que mi teléfono puede hacer.
¡Wow! Ahora dime sobre tu novia nueva.
Wow, now tell me about this new girlfriend.
Huh?
Tú sabes lo que dije.
You know what I said.
Language is no longer a barrier thanks to Live Translate with Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Learn more at Samsung.com. Samsung account login required. Calls must be made using the native Samsung dialer.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. You know Amazon Prime is not just a shipping subscription, right? It's got everything, including streaming TV and movies on Prime Video. And of course, Prime's fast, free shipping. Go from watching your favorite shows to getting your favorite things. Whatever you're into, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
This episode is supported by FX's Clipped, the scandalous story of the 2014 Clippers owner's racist remarks captured on tape and heard around the world. The series charts the tape's impact on a dysfunctional basketball organization striving to win against their reputation as the most cursed team in the league. Starring Lawrence Fishburne, Jackie Weaver, Cleopatra Coleman, and Ed O'Neill. FX's Clipped, streaming June 4th, only on Hulu.
This is your typical radio ad while eating a Crunch Bar.
This is Automatic of Otto's Used Cars. This weekend only, we're having a whale! Bring the kids. See for yourself. It is huge. Gonna make a big splash. No other dealer can say they have a whale like this.
When things sound dull, turn up the fun with Crunch.
Don't just ride the index, seek to outperform it with Fidelity Active ETFs. Learn more at fidelity.com/active ETFs. Before investing in any exchange-traded fund, you should consider its investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Contact Fidelity for a prospectus, an offering circular, or if available, a summary prospectus containing this information. Read it carefully. While active ETFs offer the potential to outperform an index, these products may more significantly trail an index as compared with passive ETFs. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Observation number 11. Now, this Ram roster is going to be pretty young. We got some veterans, obviously, but we got a lot of young players. How many rookies and second-year players could be on this roster? Well, we have 14 returning rookies from last year, second-year players, 10 more rookies this year, drafted rookies I'm talking about, plus undrafted free agent Alex Ward, the long snapper. He will surely be on this team again. So there's 25 first and second year players that will likely be on this roster. Now I'll talk about some in a second that might not make it, plus any undrafted free agents from this year and a couple of guys that stuck around last year on the practice squad that have a shot. But I think 25 would be a good guess, almost half the roster. But of these 25, who is at risk of not making it? Well, of the 2023 draft picks, I think Jason Taylor, the safety, and Zach Evans, the running back, could both be in a fight for a roster spot. And I would think either Nick Hampton or O'Shawn Mathis, both of them could end up making it, but one of them could find themselves on the outside looking in. Now, I'm not making predictions here. I'd love to see all these guys make it. Just a reality check on what this roster might look like and who might be on the bubble trying to fight for roster spots of these 25 guys. Not including Deshaun Johnson here. I think he'll be on this roster almost certainly. And 2024 draft picks, is KV Leviston fighting for a spot with Warren McClendon perhaps? I don't think Leviston's a shoo-in for this roster. We'll see how it shakes out in the preseason. Bo Limmer, I think he's just too valuable on the interior, provides so much flexibility. I think he'll be on this roster for sure, unless he's just a total washout. Don't expect that to happen, though. Observation number 12. This is a trivia question. I'm going to give you the answer right away because I wouldn't expect anyone to know this. I stole this from someone else, posting it somewhere. This was true as of like a month ago. I think it's still true. I don't think any of these guys has announced their retirement. St. Louis Rams still active in the NFL. My list is Greg the Leg, Rodney McLeod, and he's one that maybe won't be sticking around that much longer. Johnny Hecker, Case Keenum, another guy, maybe hanging it up soon if he hasn't already, and our own Big Rob Havenstein. Observation number 13. Now, if you've been listening to this podcast long enough, you know that I'm actually a pretty big fan of Jared Goff. always thought that he was better than he was given credit for, and he's starting to prove it in Detroit. But this contract by the Lions, not a big fan of it. 4 years, $212 million, making him the second highest paid quarterback in the league behind Joe Burrow. I think they're going to rue the day they gave him this contract, but they may not have had a choice. He's playing too well to move on from him, to not do this, to not work this deal, but I still think they're going to regret it. Observation number 14, the Rams are probably going to be playing in Australia in 2025. I should say probably. That's my best guess. There have been some rumors about this. Now, remember a couple years ago, the NFL announced that the Rams had been granted access to 3 international home markets, including Australia. So this is a case of the NFL finally making a full throttle foray into Australia via the Los Angeles Rams. Man, that's one heck of a road trip. Observation number 15. Let's summarize some of the power rankings out there. We'll start with CBS Sports' Pete Prisco. He has the Rams at number 9, showing the Rams some love ahead of the Eagles and Cowboys. And he had this to say: they had a terrific draft, but the retirement of Aaron Donald will be felt by the defense. Even so, Sean McVay will have them pushing the 49ers for the division title. Bold statement from Pete Prisco. Number 9 is kind of where I had him. Seems a little high looking at it from the outside in, though, but number 9, about where they belong, I think. And yes, definitely ahead of the Cowboys. We're going to have an episode where we take stock of the Dallas Cowboys. I think they could be really hurting on the offensive side of the ball, despite the presence of Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. They're going to have some issues there, I think. The staff over at The Ringer had the Rams rated number 11. Fair enough. Lindsey Jones, one of their staffers, had this to say: the Rams were one of the most fun surprises of the 2023 season and now have an incredibly strong foundation for the future. And yes, they absolutely do. The outlier, NFL.com's Eric Edholm, had the Rams ranked number 17, behind the likes of the Jags, Falcons, and Chargers, among others. Man, not feeling it, Eric. Think he needs to make a reassessment of our Los Angeles Rams. Observation number 16. Now, when the Rams drafted Jordan Whittington, full disclosure, I really didn't know who he was. Maybe heard the name a couple of times. Was not on our radar. He was not a guy that we talked about in any of our mock drafts from what I can remember, but I'm starting to love this draft pick, if for no other reason than what Steve Sarkisian, Whittington's coach at Texas, had to say about the Rams drafting his wide receiver. Now, this is a little bit of old news, but it's worth sharing. Been meaning to do it for quite a while. What did Sarkisian say? Coach McVay and the Rams are going to absolutely love Jordan Whittington. He'll be a do-it-all player on the field and in the community for LA. There's nobody on our team that was more valuable than Jay Witt in helping us build our program and culture in our 3 years at Texas. End quote. Now, does that sound like a guy that Les Snead and Sean McVay would want to have on their team? Absolutely, that we would want to have on this team. Man, Rams are building a culture and foundation that you just got to love, and Jordan Whittington is going to fit in absolutely perfectly. Observation 17. Well, isn't it about time? This billion-dollar industry, the National Football League, is going to stop using 2 sticks and a chain to measure first downs to determine if a team has earned a new set of downs. They're going to test an optical tracking system during the preseason, and if it works, they will implement it during the 2024 season, reducing the amount of human error. This is way overdue. My special assistant and I have been talking about this for a while. Glad to see it happening. What I'm curious about is how they present the results, because, stretching that chain can be very exciting. Sometimes we don't like the result. 2 links short, 1 link short, and it's all dependent on where that ref thinks the ball was down. Be interesting to see how they present the results. and retain that sense of excitement. Was it a first down or not? Have no idea how that's going to work. Could be up to the networks, actually. They'll probably coordinate with the NFL. Let's find a really cool way of letting the fans know whether it was a first down or not. Observation number 18, and I'm going to switch lanes here on you. A year or two ago, one of my sports pet peeves was, why do umpires tolerate framing pitches? Never understood that. Everybody knows catchers try to make balls look like strikes, and the umpires just live with it. It's an accepted part of the game, and it results in miscalled balls and strikes. If I'm an umpire, I'm putting an end to it right away. Tell the catcher, you move your glove like that, I'm calling a ball. Stop doing that. It's destroying the integrity of the game. But hey, that's just me. Everybody seems okay with it. But now they've taken it to a new level, apparently. Catchers have been moving their glove towards the pitcher into the swinging zone, trying to catch a ball before it breaks, before it leaves the strike zone. Again, making a potential ball looking like a strike. And then, sure enough, what happened? Wilson Contreras gets his arm smacked by a bat, pretty serious injury, and he'll be out for a while. J.D. Martinez taking a hack at Contreras' arm. Accidental, totally Contreras' fault. But again, bottom line, framing pitches, I don't know why they put up with it. Maybe this will result in some pushback against that. Maybe the catchers will at least think twice about trying to catch a ball before it breaks out of the strike zone. I think they're going to still allow framing pitches. No pushback on that. Go ahead. Trick me all game long. I'll call a handful of ball strikes because catchers are just really good at it. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.